It's me right here, Aaron. Hey, y'all. How are you doing? It is me, honey, Delores, the pastor's daughter. And I know this is like another one of those random lives, but I just wanted to come on just for a minute, just to kind of give you guys a bit of an explanation of what's been going on, what you have been seeing lately, which is rebranding. Okay. It's rebranding, honey. So this is what you are seeing now is that I am clear about my focus area, clear about my topics, clear about who I am speaking to and all of the things. So y'all get in here. Let's just chat for a minute, honey. Okay. Come in and say hello. Like the video. I'm hoping that these topics, will at least putting out this new, this rebranding, and just putting out these graphics and stuff like that will help you guys to, find me and also know what, my whole purpose is and what I'm talking about, right? So if this is stuff that resonates with you, then, go ahead and join the YouTube page, join the app, join all the things. So right here, what you see is the QR code to join my app community. It's called the Kingdom Code. Okay, and it stands for a community of discerners everywhere. And my main focus is discernment, and it's discernment in all areas of your life. And so I'm teaching the principles of discernment, but even like taking it a step further and building on a foundation of discernment. Of course, where I'll start is the foundation, because during, I guess, like these last couple of years that I've been online, I've just noticed that that's the one major area that people seem to be lacking, and that's discernment in all areas of their lives. And so I feel like I've been called to really talk about this topic, but not only that, but to really help you to activate your discernment, to really know what it is and how to really practice it. And so what you'll be getting from me is a lot of practical things where you can, well, practical examples and cases where you can use discernment, and we'll build and build and build from there. Now, you guys know that my name is Delores, the pastor's daughter. That's what I go by. And that is because, obviously, I'm a pastor's daughter, right? Actually, I'm actually a double PK, okay? Because both of my parents were pastors. My father was a pastor of a church and is still a pastor of a church. And my mother was a co-pastor for, many years. I would probably say my entire life, but probably since I was about 8 years old or so. Both of my parents probably, found their place in the ministry, right? So my father started out pastoring when we were in Germany, and as part of an appointment to be a pastor, my father requested that my mother be the co-pastor. And so ever since then, they have been pastoring together up until 2019, when everything just kind of fell apart, right? And I discerned that my father was a religious narcissist, a narcissistic pastor. At that point, I left the church and I wrote a book. And I have been speaking about religious narcissism, about spiritual abuse, because that's what I witnessed. And it's also what I experienced at the hands of my very own father, who is what I believe to be a narcissistic pastor. And so that is my messaging. So I talk about religious narcissism, and because I don't really believe that, it's been up until probably maybe like 3 years ago or so, it hadn't been something that we were hearing a whole lot of. But probably since the last like 3 years or so, we've been seeing an influx of spiritual leaders who have had charges brought up on them. They've been exposed in various ways. They've also had to do depositions. We've seen, one major pastor that is from Detroit who had a very public deposition that a lot of people were breaking down and, analyzing and all of that stuff. So we have been seeing in recent years how, there's been an influx of them. Now, what I don't want people to get confused as far as religious narcissism goes is to think that religious narcissists are only in the church. Um, I believe that the Black community is kind of riddled with religious narcissists. And I believe that's because we are a very religious group of people. We have a very religious or faith-based structure. Wouldn't even say faith-based. It's a religious structure, And so I think that that is the main means that narcissists and abusers and very toxic individuals, manipulators and controllers, they use religion to kind of do their dirt, right? But what I have seen since I started out on this journey is that the religious narcissists are not just in the church. Okay, they're not just in the church. They are all over social media. And because social media allows them to influence people beyond the confines of a church building, a lot of them have left the church and decided to go online, right? So now you're seeing like a lot of religious narcissists on YouTube. A lot of them don't claim to be pastors. A lot of them claim to be coaches and different types of gurus and hoteps and all of the things, right? They'll figure out a clever title, okay? So I find that, I'm in the right place, right, to have the most impact, and that is online, right here where those spiritual abusers and those religious narcissists are doing their most dirt underneath the radar, right? And so that's why, I feel that this is the right time for, for me to do this rebranding and really let you guys know how my story and my book led me to this place, right? Led me to this calling of exposing and really educating and helping people to heal from spiritual abuse and religious narcissism. And the way to do that is with discernment. And that's the one skill that seems to be very much lacking in all communities worldwide. And it's also the one thing that battles deception. And because we live in a world where deception is just, it's like the air we breathe, it's everywhere, it's anywhere, and it's out of control, right? There is so much information out there. It's like, how do you sift through just the abundance of information, right? How do you pick out what's most relevant to you, what will benefit you in any given scenario? How are you making decisions? What's your decision making process? Do you do research? Do you analyze the facts? How do you analyze the facts? Do you know how to analyze the facts? How do you know if you have discernment? How do you activate discernment? How do you practice discernment so that you get good at it? All of those things are things that we will talk about on this channel, right? And not only talk about, but we will actually apply them. And I believe that my story, this case of the narcissistic pastor is what I call it, right? I believe that that is going to be a very beneficial case for us to really like delve deep into and really help us to activate our discernment and really just practice it. I liken discernment to a muscle. First of all, everybody has it, right? Discernment is within you. Babies have discernment, okay? So it's a God-given gift that everyone has, right? Now, of course, I believe that things in your life may impact how you discern if you use discernment in your decision making process, all of these things, right? There's different factors that play into it, right? um and so what is really important is for us to figure out, okay, what's really like stopping you, what's kind of like, maybe blinding you a bit, and really discovering that part of it. And then what are your goals and your values? What is your belief system? And then how does that affect your ability or how you discern, or, what decisions you make in life? And a lot of people just simply don't know that, right? They haven't really just dug into that. Well, discernment is the one thing, the antidote for deception. When you have discernment, you cannot be deceived. Now, obviously, there will be times when people lie to you and you may fall for it. That's not what I'm saying, right? Um, and sometimes there's really no perfect decision, but it's about finding the best decision in a given scenario, right? With what information you have available at the time, or, whatever the case may be. But all in all, right? Discernment is like the arch enemy to deception. And there's no way, in my mind, okay? And I can plead this case. There is no way that a person can truly deceive you, that you will be deceived. And it's not even a person, because everything is spiritual, right? So there is no way that you can be deceived when you are discerning, okay? When you're using discernment in your decision making process. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff on this channel. I'm really excited because for a while I didn't really know like the purpose, right? I really know, like, okay, what exactly am I supposed to do with my story? How am I supposed to help people with this? And for a while, it was just a matter of getting it out, like just put the story out and just let God, guide me into the direction I needed to go in, right? And that's exactly what I did. I put the story out, not really knowing where God was taking me and how I would use my story to best benefit um, those around me, right? And so over time and just kind of being obedient and, listening to the Holy Spirit, I realized that God has given me this gift of discernment. And that is how I was able to um, expose my father and really see him for, who he truly is. And not only that, but I also helped to save my mother's life, because my father was attempting to kill my mother, who was the co-pastor. I just told you guys I was a double PK, right? So it was the pastor trying to kill the co-pastor. It was my father trying to kill my mother. And I discerned it, which means that I looked at the facts of the situation. I observed the situation. I used my experiences and education, and I listened to the Holy Spirit. And with all of that, it was revealed to me who my father was and what his plan was. And so I was able to help my mother to get out of that situation, to escape the situation before it turned deadly for her. And so she's alive today, and that is, I give it all to God and discernment. It's the gift of discernment that really was the thing that made the difference. Okay. And so I want you guys to also have that benefit, have that practice, and really be able to use discernment in every area of your life. Now, the foundation, right, is the same, right? So once you learn the principles of discernment, then you apply it to every area of your life: finance, relationships, spirituality, work, health and healthcare. I mean, every area of your life, you should be making discerning decisions. You should be making well thought out, analyzed decisions about everything in your life. So once you learn the principles, then you can apply it anywhere and everywhere, right? So that is, my whole platform and rebranding. And I believe that, God allowed me to use my experiences to really help in this area. And so I'm very excited to be able to share with you all the recordings, the audio book, the documentation that I have, everything that I have, not only in my father's case, in this case of the narcissistic pastor, but also in other areas. So you guys have seen me do reviews on Kendra G, her dating show, and just kind of analyzing different things that I see, different behaviors that I see. And that's all part of building your discernment, right? But you'll be seeing more of me. I have a lot more content that I've just been, really just stockpiling, just waiting on God to really give me the direction and give me the go ahead to, put it out. And so that's what I've been doing. You guys know that I have a book out, and the audio book is out too, right? So you can find the audio book on our very own exclusive app. it includes the actual recording of my father. So you'll be able to actually hear my father. You'll hear how spiritual abuse plays out in and how control and manipulation plays out. So you'll be able to hear it firsthand. Now, without having any type of skills and discernment, then you may not get the full, you may not get the full impact or really understand the fullness of my book and the audio book. And so through the practice of discernment, more of what you read and what you hear from my books will make sense. Now, volume 1 of my memoir series is out now. Hold on, I was just trying to put it up on the screen for you. Volume 1 of my memoir series is out now. It is a 7-book. I projected it all out. It's a 7-book memoir series that I have been working on. Most of the series is already written, well, partially written, and so the holdup really now for me putting more of my books out is because I've been working on trying to get an agent. So I've been putting together a book proposal and making sure that I'm clear about my branding, about my message, and exactly what benefit that I'll bring to you guys. So that's what I've been working on behind the scenes. I definitely don't want to put another book out without having the direction and, the gumption of the Holy Spirit that, that gives me really the go ahead to put the information out. But now I feel like we are, at that place. And so, over time, I'll be putting all of that information out. Now, I do have an app. I want to put the code for the app up for you, and it's right here. It's called the Kingdom Code, right? It's a community of discerners everywhere. So if you are looking to get my audiobook, the audiobook is available on the app right now. So you can actually listen to the entire audiobook right now. So it's like, what are you waiting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's on there. So what you waiting for? Every book in the memoir series is going to have exclusive audio recordings in them, you guys. So you will actually see how this story plays out and how discernment it was the tool, that I used to uncover this plot to kill my mother, to discover that my father was a religious narcissist that was spiritually abusing us. You'll see how it all plays out. And a lot of this stuff you guys have seen me live out in real time, right? So you've seen like how my father has reacted to the book being out. You also see how the leadership has reacted. You'll see how other family members have reacted in the community at large. I mean, all of this stuff is kind of playing out right in front of you guys. And I am just documenting it and putting it in a book so that you all have something that that really like outlines it all for you, right? So it's going to help with increasing your discernment, really activating your discernment, and not only that, but just practicing it, putting it to good use, right? And so all of that is available for you on the app. I just made available the Delores' daily dose of discernment. So there is a caption video on the app right now. And so this is what Delores' daily dose of discernment looks like. It's just some really quick information that I want to put out for you. I'm trying to keep these videos to probably about 10 minutes because I want it, for you guys to be able to get it in a dose, and just kind of like, this is quick information on discernment on different topics. It'll be different topics. So that you can use discernment in all of these different areas of your life, right? So we'll be talking about different topics as we go and just really teaching you how to use discernment in your everyday life. And then, of course, we'll get more complex into more spiritual things because essentially I want you to know that everything is spiritual, right? And this is a gift from God. And so we should ultimately be using it to fulfill our ultimate purpose, right? To be doing kingdom work. And that translates, like I said, into every area of your life, right? So if you are a kingdom minded individual, right, then even the job that you work is purposeful, right? You find that that becomes a ministry for you, right? Interacting with people in your everyday life and your finances, right? You're concerned about where you put your money, who you are giving your money to, you know, because we need to be discerning in everything that we do, especially where we give our money. You don't even, sometimes when you don't use discernment, you don't even realize that you are funding a pedophilia ring or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that you're even doing that because you're not being discerning about where you give your money to. And this is a day and age, you guys, that you cannot afford to not be discerning in where you give your money. Um, and so that's, that's where we're coming from. That is my message. And that is why you guys are seeing me do a lot of rebranding and posting new graphics, because I want you to know that, I've kind of like grown beyond, there's still some unfinished business now. Okay. So there's still this. Um, that I'm, working on and really confronting the lies that my father told, the word curses that he spoke over me, and the different types of spiritual abuse I that was used, that was used against me, that I experienced, and so there is a bit of unfinished business that I have with my father that I will be showing you guys, because I feel like it'll really help someone to heal. My father is still alive, and so he has the opportunity to make the change, right? That I have really been giving him grace, and that's the time and the space to change, to do better, to be better. And that's actually a benefit that I have given him. A lot of people wait until their abuser is dead and gone before they ever say, look, this is what you did to me, and this is the impact that it made on me. And so I want to be a voice for all of those who feel like I'm not going to wait until my abuser dies, before I confront what has happened and what's been done to me. Now, confrontation can happen in various ways, right? So my confrontation is done online, right? So I'm going to do it right here on my channels where I feel safe to confront my father instead of to his face. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that there will be people who would want to come on my platform to confront their abuser, and I want to create a safe space for those people to do that. So first, I want to demonstrate um, how to do it. And then I want to open it up for you guys to do that. This is a safe space here. And even if you feel like you don't want to do this in a public way, we have the app. And so an app is a community that I created so that if that's where you want to share your story with like-minded people, with discerners who can hear your story and give and be really objective in their assessment and maybe even give advice, but you can trust that the people that are giving you advice are those who are discerning, or that those um, who care about discernment, right? So they're going to be trying to use discernment and trying to really work on and put that muscle to use, so that they can give you discerning advice. Not everything is meant for a public platform like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Sometimes you want to be in your own private community where it's like-minded individuals that you can trust and you feel safe with, and that is part of my reason for developing the app. I hope that you guys will go, and all you have to do is scan the QR code. It's free to join the app. And you can get free episodes of my audiobook are already on there. Plus, the foundational videos of discernment. Now, once we increase to like more in-depth discernment, then that will probably come at a cost. Plus, one-on-one coaching with me and stuff like that will come at a cost. But to be on the app, to to be in our community chat. We also have a book club chat. All of that stuff is free to you. Okay. So all you got to do is join, honey. That's all you got to do. So go ahead and just scan that QR code. You can scan it at any time and just go ahead and join. All you need is your name and your email address. That way you and I can keep in contact. You can also message me through the app. And yeah, and then you can talk to each other, right, through the app. So you know that you're in a safe community that I'm monitoring myself, right, to ensure that it remains a safe environment. And so that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys love the rebranding and the direction that we are taking this platform in. I feel super blessed to be the face of this movement, really focusing on discernment in all areas of your life, exposing spiritual abuse, and really breaking down the religious narcissist, right? So that you're able to easily identify them. But not only that, but so that people who are, on that spectrum of, religious narcissism and really kind of getting carried away with it, so that even they, you know, can can see maybe some error in their ways, and make a change. Exposing this type of thing is not just for the sake of saying, hey, look what so and so did, right? But saying, hey, maybe so and so didn't realize that this is what it is, that they are actually abusing. I remember Creflo Dollar not too long ago, I don't even think it's been a whole year yet, where he came out and said that he was being pretty spiritually abusive when it comes to the subject of tithe. And so he had to take back a lot of the things that he said. He took back his books that were that I think that what they were doing was leaning towards real legalistic and really strict views on tithe, right? Um, and so that's the thing, you guys. And so sometimes it starts there and it even gets worse over time. If this stuff is gone unchecked, then, people can get pretty carried away with it. And I don't believe that everybody is intentionally spiritually abusing, right? And so sometimes it's all about bringing awareness to it, like I said, exposing it so that people can make a change. That's grace that we should all give each other, is saying, hey, this is what it is, this is what you're doing, this is how you're making me feel, and this is how it doesn't line up with the word of God. So yeah, let's go ahead and make a change, and it's okay. It's okay as long as we make that change. Now, what we've seen with my own story is that my father is more on the extreme end of things, and he doesn't want to make a change. He doesn't see the error of his ways. In fact, he's sticking to his ways and his viewpoints and his behaviors, and that's on him. But not everybody is, that type of person. And so there's hope for a lot of us to, you know, change our ways once we know that we are messing up. And so I'm hoping that even those who feel guilty about or feel like this probably applies to them in a negative way, that they find safety here as well, to say, hey, this is what I've been doing too. And, I'm making a change. I can see how this has impacted people. And thank you for bringing this to the light. So that's what I'm praying for. And so I hope you guys will share this video and just share this platform, this message, and let everybody know that, hey, we are talking about discernment over here. We're talking about spiritual abuse, and we're really just putting a character profile and all of that together so that we are aware of religious narcissism and how we can make a change to make our communities better, right? To make our world as a whole much better. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to be back this evening. I'm thinking around like 7, no, let me see, probably about 7. Yeah, 7:30. We'll link up again, and we're going to be breaking down this article called The Yeast of the Pharisees, right? I made reference to it in my book. And so I want us to go over that article, read it. It talks about the 13 spiritual abuse tactics. Now, if you guys already read my book, then you know I added a spiritual abuse tactic to the list. So now it's 14 spiritual abuse tactics. So I was able to contribute even more insight to those who already are speaking out about spiritual abuse. And so we're going to talk about that this evening about 7:00, 7:30. I'll send out a notification so that you guys can make sure that you are in the building, okay? So that you can, have your snacks, have your drinks, have your little notebook or whatever. You got to have a handy dandy notebook, honey. Where's my notebook at? Jesus. Anyway, I'm gonna have my notebook ready. I don't even know what I do. I got so much junk sitting around here. And look, I'm gonna have my fan too, y'all. I have my fan, and we are going to get into it, okay? I love you guys, and I hope that you have a good rest of the day, and I hope to see you back here right at, let's say 7:30, okay? Just to be on the safe side. Give me a chance to get my mind right, okay? I love you guys.